Well, new data from the Oregon Department of Education reveals that school attendance in the state is still not back up to pre-pandemic levels.
In fact, school attendance dropped by 2% over the last couple of years. Numbers that state school leaders are hoping to change. Fox 12's Carly Olson took a closer look at why those numbers have declined.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, schools became a casualty, and attendance is still down significantly from pre-pandemic levels. According to the Oregon Department of Education's At a Glance report, attendance dropped by 2% between the 2021-22 school year and this past school year. Roughly 38% of Oregon students are chronically absent, meaning they miss 16 or 17 days of school during the year. ODE Director Dr. Charlene Williams says it's one of the residual impacts of the pandemic.
One of the things we've heard from districts, in addition to illnesses and the extended amount of time, especially if a child or family member contracts COVID, that impacts their attendance.
She says their teams have learned that some families in Oregon schools are also being affected by the lack of financial support that previously existed during the pandemic.
As things get back to quote unquote normal, those financial burdens are landing back in the laps of some of our families, and they are struggling once again in some cases with food insecurity and finding stable housing and those kinds of things.
ODE staff says they will be directing $6 million through the Everyday Matters program to increase engagement with families and student support, with the sole purpose of boosting attendance.
When we are meeting with each of our districts, we're looking at their data, attendance included, and working with them based on the resources available in Everyday Matters and other pots of money to identify some targeted moves that will help improve attendance.
A spokesperson from Portland Public Schools told us today some schools are using attendance incentives and an emphasis on one-on-one teaching to increase attendance in the district. Carly Olson, Fox 12 Oregon.